your interviews
Absolutely.
online. I posted after Ivan gutted me like a fish. Farjad, we're talking about in this interpreting visual culture, 200 level class. The first third is pure Socratic method. Interlocutors pushing around ideas. Maybe we come to a third position about what where, how society's going, sharing these common views. Stony Brook is incredibly fecund this way because it's the second most diverse university in this country. Go Stony. What else about it? It's a research institute, so it's partially state funded, which I'm a union guy, which means I hate union abuses. You know, it means I'm extra hard on unions because personally, pedagogically, because there is so much abuse. You know, there should be a filter, should be checks and balances in any society. Today we're talking about checks and balances within you. Where's your family from?
India.
India, originally. North India. You're one of the long line of Mughals.
Absolutely.
One of those strains of Genghis Khan in your system, your DNA.
That's true.
You divulged that. When you grew up here, Farjad, what were implicit and explicit narratives? What were little voices that told you, like, oh, this is what I want out of my life. Oh, this is what I have to watch out for. Oh, this is what I can expect when I want a family or a house or a job.
Well, largely it was culture driven. So the
Here we go.
foreign.
Move right the dudette.
Now we can talk about feminism.
This is Farjad, Catherine.
How's it going?
Catherine.
Yeah.
Voices, opinions, a difference of opinions between
Right.
what a pervasive culture is out there and maybe what your parents wanted for you and then ultimately what you want for you. And ultimately maybe kind of a long, I'm reading about the long tail now. Anyone know what that is? Chris Anderson, this idea that we live in a time of niche cultures and the hits are gone. Chevy, apple pie, and all of that. Football and cheerleading is gone. What we now live in is a variegated culture of people who like chocolate and raspberry, people who like Proust, people who like, only early Led Zeppelin. We have this niche culture. What do you feel that presence of a niche culture?
Yeah, absolutely. And you take something that we all have experience with, iTunes, for example, right, or Amazon.
Right.
Everything is
That's
becoming
exactly the
more and more
power law.
right,
Yeah.
personalized. So I think that if you look at whichever album has had the most sales in history, I think it's Michael Jackson's Thriller. That
Correct.
record,
Late 80s.
that
Late
record
80s.
will never be broken, right? Because society is becoming more and more kind of separated into these niches as corporations realize that they can individualize not only their products and services, but recommendations, etc. So based on your habits, which are being tracked now also.
Right, with cookies, with
Google,
recording, Google's.
Right. So as it's called big data. Like the industry parlance is big data. And so there's a huge push for engineers and scientists that specialize with big data because there's enormous amounts of data being collected about you. So you go on a computer, you check your email, right? Each individual email is scanned for keywords, and advertisements are automatically displayed based on those keywords. So you see relevant ads from your email. Suppose you search on Amazon for a bicycle, right? That saves it. That's saved in your cookies.
Well, Farjad,
so
we all know in Best Buy, how many have been to Best Buy this week? Or ever? Best Buy, they just revealed this, 3 weeks ago, that whatever thing you're looking at in the store, you might stop in front of iPads, it's recorded through your telephone. There's a GPS even within the store recording and I was freaked out when I would go to my eBay and hear all the things I'd never even touched online or whatever, and I was just staring at it in Best Buy. Why is this coming up and floating past me in
Right.
eBay? Our GPS is even politicized or personalized or that is surveyed.
And sometimes you'll get a kind of glitch where on Facebook or other sites you'll repeatedly see an advertisement for a particular thing, like mesothelioma lawyers or
You have that.
or divorce consulting or something like that. Because it has the robot and the algorithm has concluded based on your browsing habits that you are interested in that thing. So it's going to constantly try to sell you that wherever you go.
So I'll open this up to studio audience. How many have read Orwell? 1984.
Big Brother.
Big Brother. How many read Foucault? Michel Foucault. The famous book is Discipline and Punish. See, he has this metaphor that said we're all living in a big circular prison, the type that Jeremy Bentham invented. So that on the inside there's a guard tower. On the guard tower there's smoked glass. It looks straight into each one of our cells, but we never know when the guard is looking back. Has anyone felt that way about Facebook? Where you're inside Facebook, you want to post, oh yeah, I got a new girlfriend this week. Oh man, I ate out at the. We know the types. They're always posting this endless stream, and they go like, well, hold on, who's in that guard tower? Why are they looking at me? Are they looking at me? There can't be. The point of Bentham, in his utilitarian sense, it's thousands of prisoners, one guard. It's the maximum efficiency of this thing. How many, Caesar, have you ever felt that with Facebook? Like,
I've never felt that with Facebook, but I mean, I'm pretty sure others have felt that walking down the street in New York City, and you got that little guard tower, you don't know if anyone's in it, but that's sort of how I felt it, from the perspective of, that sort of guard tower with the smoked glass windows. And I actually read something about that. I think it's specifically called the Panopticon.
Panopticon.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I've never felt it from Facebook, but I've felt it in other places throughout the
You think, Remy, you think eBay is a panopticon?
eBay. I mean, they're a site they sell things.
They sell junk.
Auctions, yeah.
Yeah, auction. But do you think make the stretch? What, I mean...
Well, just speaking of Facebook, if you want to think about that for a minute, the IPO, right, the initial public offering of Facebook
2 weeks ago.
Stock offering, right, it opened at $38 a share, just hit a new low, 25 and change today, right? And they were.
I was thinking of picking it up.
Exactly.
You were too.
I was too. I was like, I gotta get some money into my E-Trade account and buy me some FB, right? That's the ticker symbol. Ticker symbol.
Who was thinking that here?
Everyone was.
Anyone?
It was totally hyped up in the media.
Catherine.
This is going to be the next Apple. It's going to be the next Google. It came out at $100 billion valuation, right?
Yeah,
more
that's
more
like
than
he
McDonald's.
wanted to raise it to 38 just so it would be 100 billion.
Right,
It's like
right.
this egotistic.
And everyone, and well, first of all, it
Suffering,
opened up in the morning. Just going back to robots and machines.
And panopticon.
Right. It opened on the Nasdaq stock exchange. So the two major exchanges, the New York Stock Exchange, which is just down on Wall Street.
Where you're working now.
Right, near there. But I've been there, but there's actually people, human beings on the floor there that are responsible for each individual stock. They're the market makers, and they make sure everything's going smoothly with that stock. But with Nasdaq, it's an electronic exchange, so everything's automated, and that's really tech heavy. A lot of technology stocks, Apple, Google, are listed on the Nasdaq because that's thought to be the future. Everything is automated
On the Nasdaq.
Right.
So was
Facebook,
he was propping it up.
So
Other people had to be propping it up. Catherine, did you buy?
No, I waited.
So Facebook,
You wanted to wait a week?
See what happens.
I always wait.
Are you an active trader?
I am.
Wow. What are gut instincts when you trade? You do.
I usually just let my brother make the decisions because he's the one that's always trading the family. But I don't know. He always taught me to wait just a little bit.
And it was wise this time because now it's down to 25.
25
Yeah,
and
the
change.
next day, everything just
Straight down. Well, the first day it didn't go below 38 because the underwriters, the big banks,
Propped it up.
who were back, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, they propped it up. If you looked at the bids coming in, as soon as it would go down to 38, there'd be a huge bid, like 12 million shares.
Which is some big
Right,
boy.
exactly. And so they wouldn't let it go below 38 the first day because that looks really bad. right? If it goes below the IPO price opening day, that means it wasn't priced correctly. And so they were hoping for a big pop, like you know.
Hold on, but what is correct? Terrell, what's priced correctly? You said
I don't
38
think it was
would.
priced correctly.
Well, it's just like
I remember reading is about they told him to price it at like 37, 30. I don't remember the exact figure, but he wanted to price it at 38 to make it that even 100.
Right, and no, what I mean by correct is ultimately, you know, wisdom of the crowds. The market determines a price for a product or a share of a stock. The market, right? And
the lords of the clouds against the wisdom
and
of the
there's
crowds.
There's a saying in finance that the market is never wrong. Opinions are. Right? So, but one thing that struck me when I saw it, you know, just the bottom falling out of Facebook the following days after the IPO. So they're selling whatever million shares it was the first day at $38, right? And it was totally hyped up in the media that, you know, this is going to be the next big thing. Everyone get on it. An interesting thing when I was working with a day trader, actually, that's what I remember. He said that for every buy, there's a sell.
Of Facebook.
No, of any stock.
Oh.
Right? For every buy,
It's
there's
totally
a sell.
Fluid, right?
So if you are buying something thinking that it's going to increase in value, there is someone on the other side of that trade selling it thinking it's going to decrease in value. Right? So if you're getting into Facebook, the public is getting in at $38 a share, and that's this, you know, really wonderful thing. Who are the idiots on the other side letting go of that? Right?
They're the smart people.
Those are the smart people.
Okay. So what? Okay. We got a number of things going here. We got Facebook as the panopticon. Let's hold with that image. Facebook is the frosted glass. The guard is just sitting there eating a banana, reading a comic book. He's no longer the big scary Orwellian guard who's, you know, making sure you have the same opinion of you know, Chevrolet and apple pie and you go for your football team and all that stuff that happened 40 years ago. Readership, actually, 60 years ago was some horrendous number, like 80% of the population went to movies once a week. So of course you can take a whole generation and mold their attitudes. Okay, so the guard is benign, right? It's not even what Foucault thought it was. Some evil dude who's back there making sure no one pisses on Christ or no one, you know, like in the artwork or no one, you know, does something outlandish. No longer that one. He's a pretty mellow dude or dudette. Might even be a dudette inside this frosted thing. Facebook, the stock. We have this other idea that stocks are always right because they're the big clock, right? Which is not wrong, of course. Opinion behind it.
And they're forward-looking, also.
They're always in the future. Jay, what's that make you feel about just the community of Facebook, implicitly, explicitly, and what it makes you feel and think?
Well, I guess one thing that came to mind was the term benevolent vigilance, perhaps.
You have it, or the guard has it, or?
I think the whole situation is one of benevolent vigilance, where there's a group of people who are supposedly offering services in return for our money. I consider myself one of the people paying and being observed and being marketed to.
But your psyche, the real estate of your psyche is being sold,
Yeah.
right? Because the little banner ads are there.
The thing is, I can decide how much I want to participate. You know, if I want to go on Facebook or Amazon or eBay and participate in all that, I can choose. And in that sense, if I'm conscious that I am being observed and all my actions and desires in terms of what I want to buy at least are being logged, if I'm aware and conscious of that, then to some degree it's, you know, I'm forfeiting my privacy when I go on Facebook or Amazon. And just recently, you know, I haven't bought a lot of stuff on Amazon lately, but for a while I was looking for a Leatherman tool. So I was looking through there. I didn't see anything the first day, and I was in a hurry. I went and did all my other homework, and then next day opened up my email, got a wonderful message from Amazon, and they had this array of Leatherman tools that I had never seen.
That had always been there,
And
right?
I was like, this is great.
Picked one out, sent to your house.
Yeah. No, well, I didn't actually buy any that time, but I know it's there now, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I was actually grateful that they did all that searching because I didn't have time to spend another half an hour searching for stuff when I had 3 papers due, a test study 4, midterms, and rehearsal. So I was, in that sense, okay, thanks Amazon, this is amazing.
See you later. I'll see you when I need you,
It's a little
not
bit,
when you need me.
Right, it's a little bit creepy, but this is a time saver for me. I appreciate that.
So education, maybe, David, right?
Yeah.
Education is learning when you're getting conned, right? It's not so much learning how to split an atom. We assume specialized people do that. It's learning to discern when we're getting conned. Here's another element to that. 40, 60, 70, 80,000 years ago, our cranial development, there's debate on how come our craniums exploded, literally exploded from the savanna apes, maybe, 2 million years ago. Suddenly our craniums explode. We stood upright. I love all these Discovery Channel things on early human beings, early hominids or whatever. At one time there was only 20,000 of us. That was it. We were about ready to die off. Of course, our craniums got bigger and we were standing upright, so that meant females had to open up the hips, or the kids get the soft spot, and all those other, they call it neontony. Neontony is extracranial development. Anyway, they think that it wasn't like a saber-toothed cat or learning how to eat or whatever that made our cranium explode. It was the fact of guessing what is inside Tyrell's head, a tribe member of about 120 people. So we're in the middle of the savannah of Africa. We're going around looking into each other's eyes, like, what is Jay thinking? And so we're trying to, and this is actually one of the theories behind our cranial development in development, is that we needed the capacity to second guess who's
I was
there.
watching. Yeah, there was a discussion on the Discovery Channel about what it means to be human, the Homo sapiens, the upright thinker, and the scientist says that there are exactly 2 qualities. Number 1 is walking upright. And number 2, he was talking about the early development of Homo sapiens in Africa. Walking upright and the inability to be bored. Right? So it's the curiosity that burns within you, that you look at something and you want to come up with an explanation, you want to see, possible uses for it. Constantly thinking, right? And that's why the brain also got bigger, because you needed more capacity for the higher order thinking.
A better place to cooperate.
Right,
The guys go
right.
out hunting. The
can't be
women
bored.
gather fruits and vegetables. I got to know if I'm going out hunting with Remy, he's not going to stick a spear in my back, right? That our capacity, and you ever hang out around autistic kids, a terrible affliction, that's essentially what they lack. I mean, they have supposedly they have intelligence like we do, but they have this inability to guess the possibilities, like a chess game of many actions. Let's blow it wide open, Catherine. Now we have Facebook. We're trying to guess within, how many friends you have?
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Order of magnitude.
I guess like 250.
250. Jay?
Around there, 300 maybe.
David?
200, something like that.
500?
200.
200.
I think I put my notes like 650. I think 300.
I'm in the teens, man. I think 13, 14. I don't really use it that much.
13. I got 3,300. And I use it to, we're almost done here, to market, to sell my lectures around the world. I've even got a lecture in China that was like, Facebook was outlawed in China, even got a lecture a fee or a request for a lecture through China through that. The point is, and I'll finish up because we only have 20 minutes, is that Facebook is, not Facebook itself, social media is the next neontonic explosion. That, because these new mediums exist, we have new capacities to burst out even further. Whether we exteriorize that in ourselves or not is up to that. Let's
You are
give
the product.
Well, I'm just a prosthetic of one, Farjad. Thanks, Farjad. Let's go and stop.